we will see the all-in Cowboys strategy tested in a win-or-go-home playoff game. That would stun me if Dallas doesn't even make the postseason. Where 7 teams in the NFC make it. Come on, man.
I mean,
really? That there are 9 NFC teams that do not make the playoffs, and the Cowboys would be one of them. Come on now. Come on now.
Every year,
I understand.
there is turnover.
So,
who are your NFC teams that don't make it this
all right,
year?
No, you have to now answer first. Am I wrong about what's more likely? The Jim pluses the Chargers up 7 is more likely than the Cowboys missing the playoffs because they're 9-8.
No, 12's a lot of wins for this team in a really hard division and a really hard conference. It's more likely Dallas goes 9-8.
I don't see it.
Me either.
I just don't see it.
Dallas is super top heavy. And so if one of these guys is out, say CeeDee Lamb just doesn't show up for a couple weeks, who are your wide receivers? Who catches the football? If Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt, who are your running backs?
As much as I like to
say
make
that about each and every team.
As much as I'd like to make
the Cowboys' depth is not really what you think it is.
Offensively.
Daniel Jeremiah, who I thought was great, sat there and told us how great the defense is. Something that I haven't heard at all because we're so concentrating on all in and Jerry and Dak's contract that no one ever kind of gives the props to the defense that they deserve.
Zimmer's an outstanding
He's a great coach.
Yes.
So, and yet no one's talking about that at all.
Defense is not sexy. There's no fantasy defense leagues.
Sam Williams getting blown out with his knee is a bad
hurts.
piece of news,
That
though.
hurts.
Yeah.
But,
No, but already you're seeing a depth chart tested. And his point is that if that depth chart is tested at the wide receiver position, that's not great. But you could say if you take the top receiver away from anybody's team,
take Justin Jefferson out of the Vikings.
Like that.
Well, Jordan Addison would be your best receiver after CeeDee Lamb.
I don't know.
I mean,
I think Jim plussing up the Chargers 7 is.
Oh wow, that's a tall task, man.
I know it is, but he's done it before. Took a 5-win team to 12 wins and the playoffs when he joined the Niners. So, yeah, I see that. Now, the other question you asked me, what are the NFC teams that don't make the playoffs? The 9 that don't make it?
Right. So
or it would be.
Well, no, you're just looking like, so if they're going to make, who's out? Who's out? Every year there's teams that are out.
I think the Lions are in.
Seattle, Green Bay, Rams, Eagles. Those are your wild card teams. Do all 4 of them make it again?
The Seahawks didn't make the playoffs last year.
Sorry.
Your wild card teams last year were the Packers, Rams,
Eagles.
And Eagles.
Bucks were also 9-8.
Bucks were 9-8. If I had to take anybody out, I would say the Falcons would take out the Bucks. Right? Even though they signed Tristan Wirfs, another coup by Jason Light, who's killing it by getting everybody still staying there. So, because you're I'm not saying this is going to happen. You're asking what's likely, potentially, to happen. So I'll swap them out. I think the Eagles and the Cowboys make it again, and I think the Lions make it again. I still need to see if the Packers are that good. Did they catch fire?
Okay, I think that's fair.
Okay. I think the Rams are making it again, and I think the Niners are making it again. I think the Seahawks have a shot to sneak in.
So everybody makes it again except one team.
No. I just also said maybe the Packers are out.
Okay.
But Dallas being one of them, that would be quite the shocker.
Phew. I'm just preparing everyone. There are shockers every single year.
Where a team that was a 2 seed one year is out the next year, and they returned pretty much everybody.
The Titans were the 1 seed not very long ago, and they went 6-11 last year.
I'm trying, TJ.
He's always going to give you the glass half full.
But I'm going to give you guys the reality.
Yeah.
The reality is that 50% of the playoff teams don't make it the next year. So who are the teams that are out if we think all these other teams are getting better and going in?
You tell me.
I don't have a crystal ball, or I would be very rich.
Tell me the NFC. I don't have a crystal ball either. We actually
yeah,
do.
we do.
But it's too damn heavy for me to bring it over there. I got too big a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want a little
We
crystal
think,
ball.
we think
huh?
Seattle's
go.
going to be better. I think the Bears won 7 games last year, so we're only talking about them plussing up 3
Sure.
to make it.
Right.
Maybe 2.
Right. So
okay?
that may be the team that knocks the Packers out.
The Falcons, Rich, you think the Commanders are going to be good? I don't
Well,
know.
I
if
say that they're going to be a sleeper team. Like we're talking about them late December.
Can they be +5 to make the playoffs at 9 and 8?
Listen, sleeper teams doesn't mean that they make the playoffs.
I know,
and make hay. Like I'm just saying that these are teams that late in December will be talking about circling around. They'll have playoff clinching scenarios potentially, but it may look like a partridge in a pear tree. You know, like 15 things have to happen, but they're still alive. You know. After taking 15 shots.
I would just expect Dallas and Philly to not be 12 and 11 wins this year. I would think Detroit probably isn't going to win 12 again this year.
DJ put them in the Super Bowl in hour 1. So you're not naming the teams that you think are out. I gave you the possibilities that the NFC South champion is different, and then I also said maybe the Packers don't make it and somebody else gets in.
I would think one of Dallas and Philly is not going to make it.
Really? Ooh. I don't know about them apples,
I
pal.
don't either.
Wow.
Green Bay might not make it. Tampa might not make it.
Well, if that's the case, then
I would expect everyone in the NFC is kind of on notice except San Francisco.
I think the Rams are going to be better, pal. Everybody thought that was a fluke last year.
Hall of Famer on defense.
I'm aware of that.
Did a lot for that team.
Well, at
And
this
we're
rate,
just
the Panthers
expecting
might not
Cooper
make
Kupp
it.
to get back to a couple years ago.
It's not just him either. I just think there were a ton of young.
No one thinks Carolina is going to make the playoffs.
And by the way,
we're talking about playoff teams.
I wouldn't blame a Packer fan saying, well, wait a minute, you need to see it again from us. And we made the divisional playoffs, and we were young, and you need to see it from us before you can believe it. And the Rams are just as young. I hear you.
I mean, it's way more spicy in the AFC.
So then how about, before we go there, we've got more than enough real estate.
Lots of time. I'm just saying.
No. But before we go there, before we throw it a break, because Jackson Smith and Jigba will join us from the Seahawks. I asked Daniel Jeremiah in hour 1, out of all the 7 teams that made it last year to the NFC playoffs, which one is most likely to advance further than they did last year? And he mentioned the Lions. And he didn't think anybody would win more than 1 game this year better than what they had last year. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
and he said the Lions will make the Super Bowl.
I think that's about right.
I don't know.
The Lions were right there last year, man.
Yeah, the Lions were right there.
It was there for them, and they gave it away.
Yeah.
They gave it away. The 2 field goals they could have kicked that would have won the game, Rich. Josh Reynolds dropping 2 passes on 3rd down. I mean, they were up, 17 going into halftime, Chris?
That Ayuk catch,
Then
when
the
it looked
Ayuk
like
catch.
it was an interception.
Unbelievable. That's the greatest still photo maybe of the 2023 season.
That happens 10 times. He catches it 1 out of 10, but he caught it.
Maybe catches it
half
quarter,
out of 10.
half out of 10. He just happened to grab that one.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.